Hello. Welcome to the Introduction to the PIC Error and PIC versus VMS Discrepancy Dashboards webinar. This material has been prepared by CVR Associates Incorporated. This webinar will introduce the new PIH Information Center, or PIC Error and PIC versus VMS dashboards, and how public housing authorities can use them to identify PIC errors and track PHA performance. Let's start by discussing PIC and the data reported in this system. PIC is the computer system used by HUD to review and monitor information submitted by PHAs regarding the people who participate in subsidized housing programs. PHAs with the HCV program use the Form 50058 to electronically submit data about tenants to HUD from the PHA's system of record. The 50058 form contains demographics and citizenship status of families, any disability status, a family's income and assets, information about the subsidized unit, as well as family rent calculations. HUD uses the information submitted in PIC on the 50058 to monitor your PHA's performance and assess the effectiveness of the HCV program, analyze the program, determine future funding levels, detect fraud and monitor family compliance with income reporting requirements, and other aspects of eligibility for housing assistance. HUD provides information to Congress and other parties, and PIC data is also provided to HUD's Enterprise Income Verification, or EIV system, which is a computer matching system that verifies HCV tenant-reported income and confirms tenant identity data. Housing authorities report HCV data to HUD in two different ways. The first way is through PIC transmissions. PIC transmissions are typically reported by HCV staff. The PIC data provide demographic, income, HAP amounts, and other data on an individual household basis. The second way PHAs report HCV data to HUD is through VMS, or the Voucher Management System. VMS provides unit months leased, or UMLs, and housing assistance payment, or HAP, totals by month. VMS is also used to transmit other relevant financial and program data, and VMS data is typically reported by the finance staff. Through PIC and VMS submissions, HUD uses this data to provide oversight for HCV operations and management. Through PIC, HUD is monitoring program demographics, detecting fraud, and monitoring family compliance with income reporting requirements and other aspects of eligibility for housing. HUD also uses this information to provide to the EIV system. Through VMS submissions, HUD is determining administrative fee eligibility, populating the HUD 2-year tool to monitor and project funding and voucher utilization, and determining funding levels for subsequent years. It is very important that your public housing authority has accurate reporting in PIC. In the PIC system, the PIC delinquency report compares total unit months leased as reported in PIC versus what is submitted in VMS. This report can help PHAs identify if there are reporting errors in either system. HUD can require PHAs to take corrective action if there are significant variances between the two systems. This column, 50058 required, shows the number of 50058s required from the recently reported UMLs in VMS. This column, 50058 received, shows the active paying 50058s in the PIC system. The reporting rate column is the variance between the 50058 required and the 50058 received. If the reporting rate is below 95%, HUD may require your PHA to take corrective action. Rates below 100% are often caused by missing 50058 action types 1, or 4. Rates above 100% may indicate there are missing 50058 action types 5 or 6. In the future, disbursements of HAP will be more dependent on PIC data and EVMS, or the Enterprise Voucher Management System. As a result, the timely and accurate submission of 50058s have even greater importance. For CMAP purposes, 50058s are due within 60 days of the effective date of the transmission. However, 50058s should be submitted on a regular basis, and rejected submissions should be corrected quickly. Incomplete PIC reporting could result in inaccurate disbursements of HAP. Let's now review HUD's PIC Error Dashboard and the various reports contained in the dashboard. HUD developed the PIC Error Dashboard to allow PHAs to access centralized data, where all errors are in one place for your housing authority to review. Along with this new dashboard, your PHA will continue to use the current PIC system to identify specific details about the PIC errors. In this webinar, we will briefly review each report and provide best practices on navigating the dashboard. Before we get started on the report review, let's talk about how to navigate the PIC Error Dashboard. When you access the PIC Error Dashboard, you will automatically be directed to the first report, which is the Fatal Errors Summary Report. To navigate between the reports in the dashboard, use the arrows at the bottom of the screen, or select the text to open the menu of reports. This will allow you to choose each specific report without using the arrows. The first report is the Fatal Errors Summary Report. This report displays 50058 records submitted by PHAs that have been rejected by PIC due to a fatal error. PHA staff can use this report to identify error records and use the data to locate those errors in PIC. Here is an example of the Fatal Errors Summary Report. You can filter by state, PHA code, MTW, and the program type with the error, which is either voucher, public housing, or MTWNA. If you apply the filters, you can clear them by selecting the Clear All Filters button. The next report is Fatal Errors Monitoring. This report shows which PHAs have the most 50058 rejections due to fatal errors. This is used to effectively target technical assistance. Here's an example of the Fatal Errors Monitoring Report. The column on the left is going to show Voucher Program 50058 fatal errors greater than 40% of their portfolio size. The column on the right shows PHAs with the most 50058 fatal errors. You can use the blue button at the top to filter all programs, voucher errors only, public housing, or MTW. To clear the filters, use the Clear All Filters button. The third report regarding fatal errors is the Common Fatal Errors Report. This shows a high-level overview of rejected 50058 records by 50058 action type. Using this report, your PHA can identify the most common fatal errors by action type, which will help your PHA target what areas require additional training to improve your PHA operations and help you outline reporting requirements for your PHA. Here's an example of the Common Fatal Errors Report. Remember, you can sort by your state and your PHA code to review data specific to your PHA. Use Clear All Filters to refresh your search. The column on the left is the count of PIC errors by action type. It shows the specific action codes, which you can click on to review each action type individually. The information in the middle shows the number of fatal errors by category. The information on the right shows 50058 action type categories and the number of unique errors within the action category. The next set of reports review overdue reexaminations. The first overdue reexam report is the 50058 Overdue Reexam Summary. This provides a summarization of all public housing authorities that have submissions with a reexam overdue by at least 14 months. PHAs can reference this report to identify overdue reexams and then use the information to locate the specific record in PIC's CMAP Indicators report. This report mirrors the late reexam report in PIC. Reexams are action number 2 on the 50058. Depending on your PHA's policies, you may conduct annual or biennial reexams. Here's an example of the overdue reexam summary. This particular report provides 50058 submissions with an overdue reexam equal to or greater than 14 months. Again, you can filter by state and your PHA code to determine which overdue reexams apply to your housing authority. On the Overdue Reexam Summary Report, you can gather more information about why an overdue reexam was rejected by using the drill-through feature. If a reexam shows an error status of form rejected, drill through to identify why the form was rejected and how to correct it in PIC. In order to drill through on one specific record, right-click on the record, choose the Drill Through option, and select Drill Down Forms Rejected. The screen updates, showing specific information about that record, including the participant's initials, the PIC summarization date, the last reexam date, the number of months from the last reexam, the action type, the error status, the rejected ticket number, the form number, and the error submission date. You will be using the rejected ticket number, form number, and some of the other information to cross-reference PIC and make a determination on how to correct your data. The Overdue Reexams Monitoring Report displays the PHAs with the most reexams overdue by at least 14 months, by the total number, and as a percentage of the portfolio. This information is used by HUD to effectively target technical assistance. Here is an example of the Overdue Reexams Monitoring Report. The box on the left shows housing authorities who have overdue reexams greater than 14 months for more than 30% of their portfolio. The information on the right shows PHAs with the most overdue reexams. Remember, overdue reexams are anything greater than or equal to 14 months late. On this particular report, you can filter by all programs, voucher, or public housing by clicking the blue buttons. The last of the 3 overdue reexams reports is Overdue Reexams Form Rejected. This report shows the total number of overdue reexams because the forms were rejected due to fatal errors. Here is an example of the Overdue Reexams Form Rejected report. You can filter by state, PHA code, MTW, and name of the program type with the error, which is either voucher or public housing. If you apply filters, you can clear them by selecting the Clear All Filters button. This report shows the number of 50058 submissions with an overdue reexam equal to or greater than 14 months. In the upper right-hand corner, the report displays the number of PHAs with overdue reexams because the forms were rejected, and you can also see the total number of reexams because the form was rejected. The PIC Error Dashboard page on HUD's website also features the PIC versus VMS Discrepancy Dashboard, which contains 2 reports that compare PIC and VMS data. You can find this dashboard below the PIC Error Dashboard. It's important to note that VMS data are retroactive, which means the data in these reports are 3 months behind the other reports. view the bolded month in the report description to identify which month is being displayed. It shows the numerical difference between UMLs as well as the percentage. The first is PIC versus VMS leasing data in Program Report, which displays the difference in data between VMS and PIC. This information is important because if the data in PIC does not match VMS, then you will have a discrepancy. This is an example of the PIC versus VMS leasing data in Program Report. PHAs can select the blue buttons to examine specific programs, including VASH, FUP, and FYI. The second VMS-related report is the PIC versus VMS HAP data in Program Report, which displays the HAP difference in data between VMS and PIC. It shows the difference in dollars as well as a percentage. This information is important because HAPs will not be accurate when PHAs transition to eVMS, meaning the PHA may receive inaccurate payments. This is an example of the PIC versus VMS HAP data in Program Report. Similar to the previous report, PHAs can select the blue buttons to examine specific programs, including VASH, FUP, and FYI. To learn more about the PIC Error Dashboard, view other webinars available on HUD Exchange. The Using the PIC Error Dashboard to Identify PIC Errors webinar takes a deeper dive into each of the reports in the dashboard and how PHAs should utilize each report to monitor activity and improve performance. The PIC versus VMS Discrepancy Dashboard webinar reviews the two VMS reports in greater detail, including examining the relationship between the PIC Error Dashboard and eVMS. Now let's review how you will use the PIC Error Dashboard and PIC to correct your PIC errors. Your first step is to access both systems. On two separate tabs or windows in a web browser, open the PIC Error Dashboard and also log in to PIC. The link for the PIC Error Dashboard is located on HUD's website. You may also reference it here, as well as in the video's description. Next, in the PIC Error Dashboard, access the Fatal Errors Summary Report. Filter by state and PHA. The dashboard now displays only your PHA's PIC errors. In the Fatal Errors Summary Report, locate the error and collect the data for reference in PIC. The specific fields to reference include ticket number, form number, and error field data. Your next step is to access the actual ticket in PIC. In PIC, go to PIH Information Center on the home page. Select Submission under the Form 50058 heading. Select the Reports tab, which is located above Upload Data File. Once you have your populated list, select the ticket number in PIC that matches the ticket number from the dashboard. Next, under the Submission Error Report Format header, select HTML Fatal. Locate the correct form number, and then locate the error number and the field number. Your final step is to correct the error and submit the correction to PIC. Pull the family's file, whether it's an electronic file or a paper file, and open it in the system of record. In your PHA's system of record, identify the 50058 with the error as reported by PIC. Correct the error by following your PHA's policies and HUD guidance for PIC error correction. It is a best practice to have a manager approve your correction. Once the 50058 is approved, transmit the updated 50058 to PIC. Check the resubmission ticket in the PIC system to determine if the errors were corrected. Then, check the PIC Error Dashboard to ensure the error is no longer present. The PIC Error Dashboard updates on a weekly basis, so reference the Data Current As Of box to see when the dashboard was last updated. Review PIC errors on a monthly basis or a time frame established in your PHA's transmission policy. If you have additional questions on how to correct 50058 PIC errors, please contact your local PIC coach. A listing of PIC coaches can be found in HUD's PIC Coach directory. Note: in some cases, a PIC error may not fall off the dashboard after it is corrected and the dashboard refreshes. For more information, see the PIC Error Removal Form video link, which can be found in the video's description. Let's conclude by talking about the benefits of the PIC Error Dashboard. HUD has created the PIC Error Dashboard to more effectively monitor public housing authority activity across the United States. Public housing authorities can use the PIC Error Dashboard to also monitor their activity and effectively retrieve information to correct PIC errors. Your housing authority can gather more information about what errors are outstanding and what errors need correction. When a record is corrected, most errors fall off the dashboard, so PHAs can accurately track errors that need attention. Because the dashboard updates weekly, it allows more transparency and insight into a PHA's performance. All of the errors are centrally located in one place. The analytics provide overall details and allow PHAs to track common mistakes, provide training to staff to address those errors, and/or request technical assistance from HUD. In addition to this webinar, PHAs can access the following resources in HUD Exchange: additional webinars designed to review specifics of using the PIC Error Dashboard and best practices for implementation, a PIC Error Correction Guidebook that reviews using PIC and correcting common PIC errors, and videos and handouts about the most common PIC errors and correction walkthroughs. You can also view the PIC IMS user manuals, which provide comprehensive instruction on PIC IMS submodules. This information is located at hud.gov. You are encouraged to use the feedback link located on HUD Exchange for any outstanding questions or to provide feedback about this training. You are also encouraged to contact your local PIC coach if you need additional assistance in correcting PIC errors. Before concluding, we would like to acknowledge HUD's support in the development of this training. Please take a moment to review this acknowledgement. Thank you for participating in this webinar. Please check HUD Exchange frequently for additional documents and resources. Additionally, all links referenced in this training are included in the video description as well as posted on HUD Exchange.